Y'all gotta do it if y'all wanna get it. We were born ready, yeah, and y'all gotta get it. Y'all gotta move it if y'all gonna get it. We were born ready, yeah.
What you see is not a trick. Episode 6. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night to people joining us all over the world. We have some new faces, and thank you for tuning in. We are live and pre-recorded.
What do you mean new faces?
We jumped in subscribers a little bit, so there's gonna be a few new faces.
Yeah.
For anybody new joining us,
What are
my
we
name
at,
is
12,
Vlad.
12 now?
Huh?
So what are we at, 12 now?
Like 13.
Let's go.
Yeah, buddy. So welcome to Respectfully Disrespectful, episode 6. We're doing pretty good. I think we're keeping up with our schedule, which is always great. You went to celebrate your birthday last week, and a little birdie told me everything that happened when you went to the club.
Oh, dude.
So why don't you? We had a little debate about clubs, and if you listen to me carefully, motherfuckers, if you go to the club, you're a piece of shit. If you go there to socialize, you're just lying to your fucking self. The club is the most exhausting shit. The amount of times I've heard you say, I'm going to the club, and then the next day, you're like, oh, the DJ sucked and shit, going out to the club. So why don't you tell me how much fun you had at the club?
Dude, fucking... Alright, I guess, it's like a good continuation of the last episode. Fucking hell, man. I'm still young as shit, but I already feel old as shit. Alcohol is just not really working with me anymore that well. Fucking, like, we went to a bar beforehand so that we could, save some money and not fucking pay $40 for a shot at a
good
club.
old pregame. Yeah.
Yeah. And like, it was chill, it was fine, everything was good. And I started feeling like pretty decent. And buddy Anthony, he has a huge fucking tolerance, so he was very dissatisfied. He's like I fell into peer pressure is what it is.
Well,
man.
you're 25. You can't be peer pressured like that.
And he was just like, come on, man. Let's keep drinking. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, Anthony, I'm pretty fucking good, dude. Like, I don't really, and he got upset. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, fuck, dude, I kind of feel bad, bro. Like, what am I gonna do? Make him fucking drink by himself and shit?
This was at the bar.
No, this is already when we were on the line for the club. So, like,
You guys are drinking on the line?
No, he wanted to continue in the club.
Oh,
he wanted to
okay.
use, let's,
Because your plan was just to dance and
he
stuff.
actually, no, sorry. He actually wanted to, while we were on the line, he wanted to go to a liquor store.
And stand there with bottles?
And buy a bottle. Probably, like, one of those small ones, those 375s.
Okay.
And finish that together. I'm just like, I don't know about liquor, man. Like, I'm feeling like I could just, like, have, like, a beer or two, and, like, I'll be fine.
You're good.
Yeah, I was like, and I'll be fine. That ended up being, like, 5 beers instead in the club, and that just fucking completely sent me spiraling. Me, like a dumbass, I don't know, dude. I just fucking felt bad, like, I invited someone out for my birthday, and he's like, come on, let's drink. And when I fucking shut the idea down, he's like pouting and shit, all upset. I'm like, fuck.
So, like,
dude.
a good boyfriend, you...
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I tended to his needs.
Exactly.
And,
So you were pretty up there when you got into the club?
I was, like, okay. And, like, when you're, like, on liquor, like, our producer, he taught me a nice trick of how to, like, save your money really good and fucking get blasted completely on alcohol.
Through your butt, is what I heard.
Yeah, you boof it,
You drink through your butt.
No, his whole strategy, I thought it was fucking stupid when he used to do this shit and I was like not doing it.
What is it called? Boofing?
No, we're already past boofing, man.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying that I just thought his method was stupid. What he would do always is he would order like maybe like 2 or 3 shots of like a liquor, and when he would finish that, he would get 1 or 2 beers afterwards, and that would put him in a great spot.
Right.
And I was just like, I don't know, the whole thing about like changing the fucking degrees and shit, the percentages.
Mixing it.
I was like, yeah, I don't know, it kind of seems stupid. And he was just like, gotta, don't knock it till you try it. I was like, fuck it, So I tried the same thing, and it worked. Like, I would just like spend such little money on alcohol at that point whenever I'd be at an outing. I would just get a few shots, maybe like 4 shots of liquor, and then just down it out with a beer. And it would do the trick, man. I'd be like, not fucked up, but I'd feel great. You know, I'd feel euphoric. Everything's good. And I'm like, I'm at a really good point. So then I was like, shit, man, he was right. You know, so I started doing it like that ever since.
So you guys get in the club, all buzzed.
Yeah, exactly. We're like buzzed, you know, because we had like an hour-long Uber ride. Our producer almost pissed himself on the Uber ride.
Right, you went
This
too,
shit,
I forgot.
This shit was fucking hilarious. Now, I'll say that this was the best Uber ride I've ever had in my fucking life. Now, get this. So, we're waiting for the dude, and it pulls up in a fucking Tesla. What was it, Model 3 or something? Wait, no, Model 3 is a small one. Whatever, it was the SUV.
The Model T.
It was a SUV. Shut the fuck up. It was a SUV Tesla. And we start walking up to the car. We're like across the street. We start walking up to the car. The fucking side of the shit opens up like this. I felt like I was going into like a Rolls Royce or a Lamborghini or
Butterfly
something.
doors.
Yeah, it was a butterfly.
Doors.
Yeah, exactly. It like opened up, and I was like, holy shit. You know, I was just like, this is luxury,
Your
boy.
birthday celebration.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, this is great. I was like living it. Like, this is cool. So then our producer gets in the back. Me and Anthony are sitting in the front. And this guy, like, we start talking to him. You know, he was a really cool guy. This guy Abby. We start talking to him.
His name is Abby.
Yeah, Abby. And how do you call it? This guy, dude, he had the craziest fucking stories for us, man. And he was talking about how he was in prison in Cuba.
Yo, dude, what?
He was in Russia in prison for some time also.
Dude, that's America. You could be in prison in Cuba. You could be in prison in Russia and pull up with Tesla butterfly doors, bro.
Yeah,
that's America.
He's this Iranian guy, and right? And how do you call it? Yeah, he had the craziest stories, and the thing is, it was fun, like too, because he was like, we were asking questions about the Tesla and everything, so he was like, oh, you want to see this? And he like fucking like books it down this block, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, doesn't fucking Uber like, you know, like watch your speed or some shit? I don't fucking know, but whatever. He was speeding and shit, and there's this thing that, like, you know, he was doing with his car that our producer didn't like so much. A little bit later in the drive, so that he's not using so much of his power, he like presses on it like this.
Oh,
one,
yeah.
1, 2. You know,
I forgot
like,
what that's called.
so like
he's like pulsing it.
Yeah,
bit.
exactly.
Yeah.
So he's like pushing it just so it gets enough power to push the car. So he keeps doing this, you know. So he's not using
the electricity bills, man. What can you do?
Yeah, like he would spend much more of his battery had he just put it down completely,
like a
flat
normal person.
down. Yeah, like a normal person.
Right.
So then we're on this drive. We're talking him up. You know, he's telling us stories and shit. We're laughing. We're having a great time. I'm telling you, this is the best Uber ride I had in my life. And we're on the expressway, getting almost to Manhattan, and I look at our producer in the back, and he's like this. He's like, you know, fuck.
Man, you keep doing this.
So he's like holding on for dear life, and he looks at the fucking navigation. It says like 30-something minutes.
Oh, that's the worst.
Yeah,
dude.
and he's like, dude, I have to piss. He's like, I'm not gonna fucking make it, bro. You know.
No.
And so now we're on the 278. So I'm sitting there. I'm like, Egan, we can't fucking stop here, bro. He's like, he needs to. I'm like, dude, like, where? Like, I'm like, we're at the part where we're about to hit the. I think it was the Manhattan Bridge. So we're going on the 278, and you know, there's nowhere to stop there. You know, you keep driving, you can't, like, there's no space to stop anywhere. Then you take the curve and you get onto the bridge. You can't stop on the bridge. Then you get off after. You're in the city. There's no place to stop there either.
Yeah.
So I'm telling him, I'm like, you gotta hold out. He's like, no, he has to find a spot, bro.
Did you guys make him find a spot for
Yeah,
you?
yeah. He was cool about it. Though. He was mad cool about it.
It was either he finds a spot or he pisses in his car.
Yeah.
So.
You know. The thing is, though, I mean, he still did his good deed afterward. He gave him a $20 fucking bill, tipped him good. So
Don't ever do that shit again. I've talked to you about tipping Uber drivers.
I would not have done that if he didn't stop.
All right, you better not. Okay.
But yeah, how do you call it? Yeah, it was great. Like it was such a fucking fun
So you
ride
got to
and
the
everything.
club,
But it was
and
just,
the music was
fun.
great,
It was
right?
just funny. It was just funny. Real quick. No. Right before that, it was just when he really needed to piss. I like, you know, I'm sitting there thinking. I'm like, I'm kind of like, I don't want to ask this guy to like pull over. You know, I'm feeling like, you know, weird about it, but I know I have to. So I'm getting ready. Yeah, I'm getting, because he's talking stories and shit. So I'm getting ready to find my like moment to butt that into the conversation.
Yeah.
And I'm like looking at Egan, and he's keeping this pulse and shit. So Egan is like shake.
You know?
So he's like fucking like shaking and shit. I'm looking at Egan. He's just fucking like holding on, trying to breathe and shit.
Yeah, fuck you.
It's alright, dude. But that was so good. Yeah, obviously the camera couldn't see that, but when he did this, our producer at the same, it was like literally in sync.
Vlad's a liability.
NPC ass behavior right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you know, I felt bad for him. We found the spot and everything was good. Guy was cool about it. He didn't care. You know, he's like, when you gotta go, you gotta go, you know, and all this shit. And it was great. So yeah, we get to the club.
The music was great, I heard. Like, lovely music.
It was really boring. It was one of those, again, it was one of those.
What happened?
It was one of those hit or miss things again. And to be honest, the club that we went to, which is my favorite place to go to.
Do not say it.
The tickets are usually $55 when it's like a known person. Sorry, when it's like a known person, like a known DJ who's running the set.
Now, if you're a beautiful girl, is it also $55?
No, it's
of course not. Why would it be, right?
It's usually for them. For them, it's usually $3.99.
Oh. The fee for 5 fee.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. And like, I wasn't feeling it, dude. Like, I wasn't feeling it. So then, like, Anthony's, like, bugging me. Like, let's get drinks and shit. So I'm, like, I'm falling into it. And I'm also not enjoying myself. So I'm just, like, all right, you know. And I haven't been in a club for so long. So now I'm starting to get under the influence. And I'm starting to feel really good. But I'm not enjoying myself. So I want more. Plus, like, Anthony's, like, you know, always, like, trying to get us to keep drinking and shit. So I just fell right into the peer pressure like an idiot, knowing that I haven't myself drank in such a fucking long time. But how do you call it? I'm trying to have a good experience. I'm dancing. Some songs were good and I was enjoying myself, but then people kept bumping into me, stepping on my shoes. You know, people were approaching me, fucking complimenting my tattoos, bars. And I was just like, reflecting on this experience, I'm just like,
I was right. That's what you thought in your head.
Yeah, I'm just like,
you're like,
the fuck do I need this for, man?
He was like, my boy's fucking right, bro.
Yeah, I'm like, the fuck do I need this for,
You
man?
don't.
I'm sitting there, I'm like, I'm starting to feel, even though I'm only 25 years old, I'm just sitting there, I'm like, I'm starting to feel like I'm just too old for this bullshit,
dude.
You know,
that was me.
I'm just like, I'm not. Like, as the years have gone by, I've become less and less of a people person. So then it's just like,
I think that's a thing that everybody goes through.
So then, yeah, you just like,
yeah,
you know. So I just like, I really was not enjoying myself. Like, I wasn't having a good time. So then I feel like because of that, I also started drowning myself in alcohol more because I was like,
God,
yeah, I was like, you know, I gotta have a good time somehow.
Oh no!
And
then you pay the consequence.
Yeah, pay the fucking fat consequence.
Vlad went the full New Yorker, bro.
Fat fucking consequence. Like, we come out of the club, I'm disappointed as fuck, you know. And like, we found a stand. Our producer wanted some food, so I asked him for a fucking hot dog. He got me one. Mistake.
How much you guys pay for that hot dog?
Fucking like $24.
What?
Nah, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I got you though. New York.
Yeah, it's probably like $6 or something for a hot dog. $4.
Hot dog for a hot dog is like $8.
And yeah, I feel like it was a mistake for me to even eat anything like, you know, like that. So
yeah.
But we get into the subway. Well, first we're walking around and stuff, and I start feeling like I'm a little too fucked up. And I have this thing usually that like works for me if I mix, you know, things together. Like, what I mean by that is if I'm drunk off of alcohol or close to it, usually I can smoke some bud and it will like
Bleep.
it will counteract what I'm feeling from the alcohol.
Oh, so you're a chemist.
Exactly. And it will help me sober up. It will help me calm down. It will help me sober up. So I started feeling a little too drunk. And they're like, yo, let's take this train and all this shit. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I'm like, we take this train
What time was it when you guys took the train?
like 2 o'clock in the morning,
So it's still pretty lively. Should be, at least.
and how do you call it? They're like, let's take the train and shit, and I start insisting to take an Uber because I know that I'm feeling crappy,
And you're bawling.
and I'm balling. I know that I'm feeling crappy, so I'm just like, I kind of want to take an Uber. They're like, bro, what are you talking about? $70 for what? Come on, let's get on the train.
Dude, fair point.
And I'm not trying to tell anybody that like I'm feeling sick,
Because you'll get peer pressured.
exactly. I'm just like, fuck it, we ball.
We ball. $2.75.
So we
baby.
get on this train, and at the same time, I'm getting winded. Like I'm so fucking tired. Like I start falling asleep. I can barely keep my eyes open.
And you're like 86.
Exactly. So I'm starting to fall asleep. We're chilling. And I put my fucking head like I have like that window seat kind of thing. Yeah, I put my head on the side of the train, and we're going. I'm just trying to knock myself out and hope they're just gonna wake me up. We'll get up and we'll leave when I need to.
Okay.
Instead, I'm fighting for my life, and all of a sudden, dude, I start getting really fucking hot, man. It was hot in there. Like it was hot as fuck in there, and that was not helping my situation.
Dude, the conductor's like, we're gonna turn.
So I'm getting overheated. I'm getting very fucking overheated, and I'm trying not to focus on it, but I focused on it too fucking hard, so it got to my head. Like the heat, the heat got to my head. I felt like this was maybe like 20 minutes into the train ride or something. I don't know. I felt way too fucking hot. So like it got to my head and I was just like, oh no, dude. So then like I try to make some space. I'm like sitting, I try to make some space and I try to be as nonchalant as possible. And I just fucking right in the corner where I'm like right by where I'm sitting, I just fucking yak. Like
you vomit.
Yeah, I just fucking yak right on the fucking floor.
How do you make that nonchalant? Just, guys, excuse me.
Yeah, it was bad. So like I'm sitting there, I'm like, did I just fucking yak on a train, dude? And I feel disgusting for it, and I'm embarrassed, I'm like,
you should be. You're disgusting.
I don't drink alcohol, dude, and I don't drink alcohol for a reason. Like I knew what I was doing, and I knew that shit was gonna go bad because I remember like we had went an hour, like one other time in a different instance, we went an hour and a half away from where we live, and I only had like 3 glasses of beer. The next entire day, it was dehydrated as shit, had the worst fucking migraine, felt weak, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, do I have to like take vitamins now or something? Like,
probably.
I'm like, I feel horrible. I'm like, I remember when I was a teenager. And like, I mean, of legal age in other countries where it was allowed.
In a country where it was allowed.
Where it was allowed to be 18 and drinking.
Our boys in Indonesia.
I just remember I'd be able to like take like a regular fucking liquor, 40%, it's just standard. Yeah, like I would be able to take like 14, 15 shots, and the next day, although what happened is I would wake up, I would feel shitty, like hungover, not crazy though. I'd make myself some coffee, drink it. Hour later, yeah, drink some water. I'm okay.
Yeah.
And now, like I said in that instance, I had fucking 3 beers that one day. Got home the next fucking day, migraine. Feeling fucking sick. Like,
you're just breaking apart.
Yeah, like I was dehydrated as shit, and I'm no matter how much water I drink, no matter how much coffee I drink, nothing's helping, and it kills an entire day for me, like a whole fucking day wasted. And that's why I fucking despise alcohol. I don't like that shit. Like it feels good in the moment, but just for you to have fun and party one night and you get drunk, you sacrifice an entire day afterwards recovering.
Yeah, this is a good message for
it's a good message for the world. Fucking stop with that shit. It's not
stop
good.
drinking. It's not good for you.
It's fucked up.
But
anyways, I'm gonna go drink later tonight.
Is that really what's happening today? Jesus Christ.
No, I'm gonna probably just have a cocktail and leave it at that.
Have a what?
A cocktail.
What are you gonna do to the tail?
Cock it. But how do you call it? To continue that story, this god awful story. We at that time. Oh fuck!
What the fuck was that? What the fuck? Dude, you fucking good?
I'm pretty sure the mic picked
What
I
the
hope
fuck was
not.
that sound?
It's my shoulder, bro.
Dude, you're fucking broken. You have like a repair manual or something? Like, what is going on?
No, I just drink WD-40 every day. But
Bro, it's crazy. Like, I've been told my whole life, oh, you're drinking soda in the morning, you're eating cookies. Oh, you'll see, it'll catch up to you. This dude's like more athletic than me, and he's over here like, oh,
that's not okay. But that's not fair to say. You forget that I was in a car accident.
Yeah, but before that, you were kind of like
no, I was okay. All I had is because I'm fucking tall that my back would just get strained and hurt.
Well,
but that was very manageable. Go to the gym, work out my back, and I'll be fine.
Look,
like I had no problems before I was 21.
Well, then stop driving.
Right. I mean, I wouldn't say that's the problem. But anyways, to continue the fucking story, yeah, you know, once I yacked in this fucking train, they were like, fuck, dude, all right, well, I'll sit with him, you know, I'll make sure he's okay and shit, and I'm like, no, Uber. I'm like, it's Uber time. I'm like, I'm getting off this fucking train.
Oh,
Like,
you left the train?
Yeah. As soon as I yacked, as soon as the next stop, I got off. I was like,
You left your mark, and you were like,
yeah. I'm like, I'm out of here.
That's disgusting.
We get off the train, and Anthony's like, he's like, fuck, man. Even the fucking homeless dude who was on the train was in fucking shock and disgusted with you and left. And I'm sitting there like, I'm like, you know, and they're known for pissing wherever the fuck they want in the train carts and shit.
Dude.
He's like, yeah, even the homeless guy was just like,
a statistic.
yeah, he's like, even the homeless guy was like, what the fuck is this, you know, and got the fuck up and left.
That's hilarious.
So I was embarrassed. I'm like, dude, I don't want to drink, man. Like, this is fucked, you know.
Yeah.
And we get into an Uber afterwards. And now I'm like, all right, like, lock into this nap. I'm like, take a fucking power nap so that you're not feeling...
In the Uber, you're going to sleep? That's
the
worst thing you could do.
So then again, you know, we're going down, and we're like 6 avenues away from my place.
Okay.
And
What's
this
the
is
address?
and this is 123 fuck you street. And I wake up, and I'm like, you know, I'm like, I can't continue this. So I tell Egid, I'm like, I need to go now. So he tells the lady, she pulls over. She was pissed the fuck off, dude, that I stepped out of the vehicle. I started yakking.
Again?
Yeah.
Yo, you missed out. You didn't tell me half of this.
I started fucking yakking, and again, felt like shit. And she got pissed off, so she fucking dipped.
Oh, the Uber left you?
Yeah,
What a night.
No, we told her to leave. She
Oh,
was standing there for a decent amount of time. And she was like getting progressively pissed off.
Yeah. So, you know,
Okay.
she fucking dipped. And they walked me home. And yeah, dude, I lost the entire day after that to just fucking pure recovery, man. I despise alcohol. I hate that shit.
There's a valuable lesson in all of this is when daddy tells you something, I see miles ahead, okay? I know this. I've seen this. You don't want this, okay? like you're feeling it now, and I get this is just like there's a bunch of people are gonna be like, I have great stories from the club. The club is a fucking useless place full of useless people. Like that's just what it is. Like if you want to dance, I told you would have a better time. Why not do this? If you genuinely want to have fun and spend a good time, get an Airbnb, get a bunch of your friends, and fucking throw a dance party there or some shit like that. What?
3 friends?
Listen,
That's
I mean,
all you
I
got,
don't know,
3 friends?
I still do like the club just for its premise. It's these side things that happen all the time that really just like kill my experience.
But that's
all the
straight
time.
up random shit. Like you get to the club, oh, the music is shitty. Then what the hell is the point of being there?
Well, yeah, that's definitely not like an ideal situation. Like I said, like still, I was like vibing and not like there was some songs that were like cool and we were having fun and stuff, and I was actually dancing and enjoying myself. And then like he would ruin it and like end the song really fast and like transition into some complete garbage. And the thing is, sometimes when I'm in clubs, I sit there and I'm like, are these DJs not musicians? Because sometimes
Dude, you do not need to be a musician to be a DJ.
Dude, because sometimes I hear how they transition shit, and I'm just sitting there, I'm like, I'm sorry, like, that was not musically skilled. Like, that was one of the most worst fucking transitions I've ever heard in my life. And you can see it in the crowd too. It's really funny when like nobody's fucking with it, and you look at the DJ and he's like, and everyone's just like, you know, like nobody's fucking with it, and the DJ's like, so many DJs can't read their crowd, and you know it bothers me. And
You should make a course.
yeah, exactly. And
DJ
I'm sitting
training
there. I'm
course.
like, dude, like I fucking liven places up, man. I know I'd be able to do that
I
shit.
feel like
but it's not for me. Like I don't want to do that.
I'm really close-minded about DJs. If I meet somebody and they tell me that they DJ on weekends, I kind of think they're a piece of shit. I just feel
Listen,
like
it pays well.
I guess
Like it fucking pays well. I think like it'd be sick, you know, like to run a set for like 2 hours, 2.5 hours, and you get paid $3,000 for that shit. That's cool. Like it's great. Like
I don't know.
I would see myself like enjoying that kind of a job, but I, you know, being a musician already, I kind of fear for my my hearing.
Speaking of that, the musician part, my friend, he watches this with his girl, Vova and Tanya, and Vova was like, hey,
Shout out Volvo, shout out Tanya, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And Vova was like, hey man, I really like the podcast. He's like, the song in the beginning, he's like, did your co-host make that? And I'm like, you think Vlad's that talented?
The fuck?
Dude, I was like, fuck no. I'm kidding. But I thought it was so funny.
You just watch me, man. I'm going to make it big and I'm going to forget about all you motherfuckers.
No, but it was really cute because he always gives me feedback on the podcast and stuff, but I thought it was funny. I mean, honestly, dude, here's what I'll tell you. It was a shitty, I guess, experience from your birthday, but at least it's a memorable one. Like, you'll never...
I mean, hey, I was grateful people came out. People came to see me and shit, so...
I wasn't there. I'm not his friend, but...
He doesn't like that shit, and I wasn't even gonna... I wasn't gonna force him to fucking do that shit.
I was busy doing literally anything else.
Only his wife can do that. The only time I've
Oh,
ever...
she wanted to. She was like, oh,
Yeah.
why did Vlad invite me? I'm like, I don't know. I was like, I don't know.
I'm about to cry. What the fuck?
She was like,
I just didn't think that she would leave you at home.
so
and
that's, dude, like I'm a dog, dude.
I didn't think she was gonna leave you at home. What the
She's
fuck?
closing the door to come to the club, and I'm like,
I would have. What the fuck had I known? I don't know. Like because I asked her one time, but it was just a regular like.
I know, I remember,
Yeah,
I
it was a
remember.
regular thing, and she was just like, I don't want to leave him home.
dude, I'm a toddler. I need to be fucking pampered. She was like, I was like, I don't know. She's like, would you have gone? I'm like, no. She's like, not even for me. I'm like, no.
But you did.
I went one time. It's because I got fucking tricked into it.
Well, you know the thing is, like, I remember it was more like a disco, rather than. I mean, it was a club. It was
disco.
It was a club, but it was like very like disco like. It was Slavic music.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like, you know, 808s and like hard bass and all that shit. Like, no, it was just like, you know, lively music, so it felt like a disco.
I felt disgusting, bro.
Like that's actually what I do like. I mean, I obviously didn't enjoy the music that was playing that night, like when we all went together, but you know, because it's something that I was passionate about. I was probably like 22 or something like that when
yeah, it was like a few years ago.
Yeah, it was like 3 years ago, I think, when we went. And it was the first time I had ever like seen him in that kind of a setting. And like I saw he wasn't fucking with it.
Hell no.
But you know what? Like that was one of my best experiences ever in like a club setting, just because all he was doing is shitting on every fucking person that there was. I'm gonna expose this fucker right now, and I'm sorry, but this was just too fucking gold.
What?
Like you would see people dancing, and you'd be like, look at these fucking chumps, you know?
Yeah,
Like these
dude.
people were just enjoying their life. They
And
were
ju-
having fun. And he's like, look at these fucking chumps. And
I'm a grade A hater, and
I was eating it up, man. I'm like fucking listening to
Well,
this shit.
what's even better
laughing.
about it was we were like in the center of the whole spot. Like, well, we were like somewhere where there's a lot of people
We're like
dancing.
in the back left almost.
And it's no, hell no. And it's just me in the middle, just standing, talking to Vlad and talking to
And
you.
it's not something you do in club. You don't talk.
Everyone's
like,
dancing around me. They're just like, and I'm just like sitting there. So I'm like, I'll just take my phone out.
not even this.
Yeah, I was not even.
You couldn't even get this out of him. You know, he's just fucking standing there, still, looking around, laughing his ass off, and telling me all about it. I'm
Yeah.
just fucking, I'm eating this shit up, dude. You know, I'm eating this shit up. And I'm, at this point, I'm not even thinking about the music no more. I'm looking for his next victim, you know?
The worst part about that was that after that whole thing ended, Vlad immediately was like, "Yo, we gotta go again, bro." I was like, "No, we're not going again." Well, it's a memorable thing. I mean, um, that's crazy. It's gonna be 30 minutes of of Vlad club story, but I promise topics and I will deliver, my babies. We're gonna do this today. Man, it was actually kind of a crazy week. There was a lot going on, I feel. Did you read anything about like the Kanye song that came out, like Heil, that one guy? You didn't hear of this?
What the fuck are you talking about, bro?
What? You didn't hear this? Kanye West, or Ye, released a song called Heil H Man, and it got removed from like everywhere. I think I heard like snippets of it. I
You're
think...
spelling it wrong, man. It's Heil.
How do you know? So he released it everywhere.
He's writing hail.
Hail. And so he released a song. It got obviously backlash because why wouldn't it? And I'm pretty sure it got removed off a lot of places. There were snippets going around Twitter. I'm pretty sure it's not on YouTube itself. So Igor's gonna... Oh, you're gonna play it for us? Yeah. Right here.
They don't understand the things I say on Twitter.
Dude,
What's wrong with this guy, bro?
what's wrong with this guy?
Yeah, I always, you know, now like where Kanye West, Ye is,
Yeah.
fucking, because I don't even want to call him Kanye anymore. That's not Kanye.
Yeah, it's a different person
So
at this point.
where Ye is, like now with his career and shit, I always refer to him as like the fall of Rome.
Yeah.
Like he was
You
just
said that the other day, and it's a very good description of it.
Yeah, he was, you know, he was this fucking like ahead of his fucking time kind of guy, you know? In my opinion. I mean, that's subjective, but
Yeah,
like
no, I think he was musically
yeah,
100%.
he was just a great fucking musician, you know? And like he knew what he was doing. He was a smart fucking guy. And then I guess like I don't know what it is. Like I don't know what happened. Like I guess he was trying to battle woke culture or something. Like I don't know what it is, but something just snapped in him, you know?
At this point, it can definitely be studied at like what happened. I was a huge Kanye fan. I got the shoes. I loved Kanye. I loved the music and everything. And then at some point, it started feeling like, you know, there was that whole thing where he became very religious. Remember, he made a whole
feel
album.
like he was making like meme music. I didn't think like anything was serious that I would just listen to afterwards.
He made an album that was I think there was like no cursing in it because he was doing the Sunday service and stuff. And I honestly, in my opinion, I think this whole thing happened when him and Kim got divorced. And you remember those things about him being hospitalized and him being diagnosed with like bipolar and all that stuff. So I think starting then,
that's when Ye came out.
yeah, and honestly, here's what I'll say. I think I gave him the benefit of the doubt a lot of times. I was always just kind of like, he's honestly like a little misunderstood and stuff. And then at some point, I think he just started saying the worst shit.
It just got too fucking much.
He started thinking that he's too smart for everybody, and anyone who was around him was just such yes men, like telling him that his shit doesn't stink. He would purposely say things that were horrible just to get a reaction. Like I remember when he went on InfoWars with Alex Jones and started talking about like I don't, you know, I love stuff like that. And then he tried to make it this whole thing. No. I'm speaking like Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ loved everyone. It's like, dude, you know what you're doing. Like, don't pretend like you're this guy that no one understands. And if you're going to live your whole life like that, then don't complain about it.
I feel like he thought that he would get like positive reinforcement or something like that
from being like out there and
for being the way that he is now.
Probably,
and it's just like, you know, like there was that whole pretty sure it was Ben Shapiro who criticized Kanye West, and I couldn't believe my eyes with how he clapped back when he made a video where he was like, he knew what he was doing. He did this shit on purpose. He was trying to speak to him like in an educated and formal manner, like he's not using curses and he's not arguing, but rather like explaining the situation.
Yeah.
But he's wearing a shirt that, definitely wasn't gonna make Ben Shapiro.
The symbolism.
Yeah, definitely wasn't gonna make Ben Shapiro like happy about that. Like he was just like, this was obvious what he was doing.
Yeah.
And I remember when I looked at that, I was just like, he's not joking around anymore. Like this at this point, like it's a little.
It's become a part of him. Like,
yeah,
his
I'm
identity,
like, this is too much now, and I'm like, but then to dissect like this situation, when you're talking about what happened to him and how he got diagnosed with bipolar,
yeah,
and it's just like, maybe it's just severe mental issues, like, how do you call it? Because when we think about like a bipolar person, right, you have these mood swings and you have a different personality that can come out of you.
Yeah.
You can...
We know someone like that.
Yeah, you can coincide with two personalities within yourself. And it's just like this yay personality, like, has taken over him, I guess. And I feel like he's going to try to, like, at some point talk about how everyone's so accepting for everything else, for every other mental health issue and all that stuff. And then he's just going to blame it all on that. That he's just got mental issues. And I feel like that's where he's going to swindle this whole thing and try to, like, reason with what he's saying.
I get that bro. I get that argument, but it feels like the track record, when he was like parading his wife around half naked all the time, sometimes pretty much naked. And it feels like, again, you're doing this because you know what's going to happen. People are going to...
Like in the Met Gala?
Yeah. You're going to have people comment on what you're doing, how you're horrible. You're going to start saying, oh, those people are attacking me again. But it's like, you know what you're doing. Like, you are asking for this kind of response. When Kanye West was doing Sunday service and putting out albums that had no curse words and stuff like that, people were praising that because it was like a rapper doing something that's not traditional. Now... and it's also like the whole right wing red pill community and stuff like that, like Andrew Tate and stuff like that. They've all started supporting Kanye and all this shit.
That guy was a fucking disease on the internet, man.
He still is, bro. It's still around.
Well, he's created this long lasting effect, and like he's swindled the mind of so many like young men.
Yeah, it's terrible.
And now they're all just like about themselves, and I feel like that just fucks with society, dude. Like,
yeah,
it creates bad workers. It creates, these lazy people who think that they're going the right path in life.
It damages relationships between people.
The dating life, especially. I mean, like, dude, when I hear, like, stories about, like, what guys have done to girls, like, from people that I know, and they would tell me, like, these stories about bad dates and, like, this and that, like things that guys have done, things that guys have said. I sit there, I'm like, this can't be real. Like, I feel like I'm listening to like something that can only happen in a movie, and then when I hear about all these bad experiences and all these terrible dudes, I just think of like the whole Andrew Tate thing.
Yeah, you get promoted. Well, it's toxic behavior, right? I mean, we talked about Twilight that one time. That's they had toxic traits for boyfriends and stuff like that. But yeah, that whole culture and that side of the internet, you have Andrew Tate, you have Sneeko, you have what's his name, Jake Shields and stuff. They all promote crazy conspiracy theories all the time. And then he went on InfoWars with Alex Jones, and
They think they're making men, but they're just making angry little boys.
Well, it's rage baiting, right? You're gonna constantly post on Twitter. Like, look at it this way. I think the most dangerous individual is a young man, just because you're not, like, you're forming your opinion, but you're also listening to other people who can instill a lot of dangerous ideas in you. And then when you're sitting there and you're upset about things, right? Like say you're not getting attention from girls or other people, you're having problems, and then you go on Twitter and it's this guy being like, it's because the fucking system's against you. They don't deserve this shit. You need to be this awful person.
And I feel like a lot of young men always look for a mentor.
Exactly. Yeah.
And when they hear this kind of shit, they just get this negative output on life where they're like, everyone's against me. I can only fend for myself. I can only take care of myself.
It's easy,
And it's
to
just
be
like,
angry, just angry
yeah,
all the
and
time.
you create these fucking terrible people, and it's just like, I feel like that's like one of the, how do you call it? Like a pandemic or something, to be honest. Like, I don't know how else to call it, because it's literally diseased the minds of so many people who are now in this like red pill society.
Yeah.
And it's just like, yeah, you create these like egotistical, narcissistic fucking people who all choose this internet persona as a mentor and just take everything that he says to the heart and take it so serious rather than think for yourself, which is kind of ironic because if that's what he prays, what he talks about, like all of this shit to be a independent individual.
It's a mind fuck.
Exactly. Yet they're sitting there and they're eating this fucking shit up.
It's a mind fuck. You preach to people like what did he do all the time? I'm trying to make strong men who are financially independent, and then you're in turn making men who are relying on you to just keep like making this wheel go forward, just fueling it with fucking anger and
he's very like bashful to women and all these,
which is just bullshit. He has daughters, he has girlfriend. I don't believe that you can have a daughter, and then still go on the internet and be like, fuck these bitches.
Well, that's where it creates that issue. Like I'm not sure if you heard about how there's like a study going on that right now there's so many single people, and nobody's even trying to get into a relationship, and everyone's focused on money right now. Everyone's trying to claim that bag, and everyone's trying to work on themselves, and they don't give the opportunity for a connection, and it's just like, what happened to old school romance, dude? Like, what happened to
meeting on the street in a park?
Yeah. Like, what happened to like also just like caring for that person and like wanting to do things for them, even though you know that they can do it themselves. They don't need your money. They don't need you to fucking do this and do that. But it's just a thought of, But now you created these red pill dudes who are all like, fuck that. We're splitting the bill. It's like,
chivalry.
It's like, what the fuck happened to that shit? You know what I mean? And it's just like, it's fucked, dude.
You know what I think the big problem with dating, and it's very relevant to a lot of people, but I think we've created a network where it's so easy. You download an app and then you look for people at a certain age who look a certain way, who like certain things, and you are not becoming somebody who's open-minded. The point of a relationship, in many ways, you meet someone, you grow with them. Sometimes they like things you don't like. Sometimes you like things they don't like. You work together. You find ways to fit like a puzzle. Now, people treat other people in real life like you could just swipe them away. If you run into someone on the street, why would you give them the time of day if you can get on an app and find exactly what you're looking for? And then what happens is you find people who have no personality because you go on a date, you give them a chance. They bamboozle you because you read this stupid description on their Tinder or whatever, that they're this great, amazing person. They have amazing pictures. Oh my God, it's a guy I like. It's a girl I like. And then you're left there like confused. Then you say you hate the apps and then you download it again.
I'm one of those people. I was stuck on that shit just because like there's
no other way. You have to.
Yeah. I mean, like it was also hard for me in the situation I was when I lived in New Jersey. I didn't know anybody, so it was kind of like a form for me to try to like, meet people. Exactly. Like I even used, I unfortunately had 3 dating apps. And I always knew that Tinder was the worst of them all. And I know that Hinge usually has more serious people, and so does Bumble.
And Grindr.
So I always, like, when I was using those dating apps, I would have, like, actual moments where like you match with a person and actually talk to them compared to Tinder where you match on somebody and then it says that you matched. You're like, cool. And then you hit them up and goes nowhere. Nobody ever answers you and all this shit. I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, so you just wanted to see if I was down with it or not. That's,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
all
yeah.
you wanted to find out.
It's a
But I
it's a
even-
self-esteem
But
boost.
when I was in Jersey, I even used Bumble has 3 sections: dating, networking, and friends. So I even used, you know, the Bumble friends, but it's like these things are all fucked, dude, completely fucked. And like it was always the worst experiences, dude. It's like, but then you get stuck, like you don't know what else to do, you know.
Yeah.
Like I'm a young man, so I was looking for something serious, you know. I wanted to find that person, I wanted to build that connection, and I wanted to create something and hope that it would lead to marriage, you know what I mean? Like I'm fucking 25 years old, dude. Like I kind of gotta get there already, you know.
It's a problem. I remember the first time I really kind of thought about it. I was in college, which, you know, college, you think that's like the main hub where a lot of people meet people. And one of my friends saw this cute girl walking, and I was like, oh, I mean, and he's like, I'm gonna go talk to her. And I was like a shy person. I was like, oh damn, like you're gonna just walk up to her and like say hi? He's like, yeah. He comes up to her. She's like taken back that he's doing this. She's like, what the fuck? He's like asking, he's like, oh, you know, I think you're this. Like, would you want to like talk or hang out? She was like freaked out or something, and she just was like, no. And then she left. The point is, like, even if she was just genuinely not into it, that's when it hit me where it's like people just don't know that that's how it used to work. You would see somebody, you would just meet in a certain place.
I feel like you dissected it a little too hard, though.
I did. I looked
She
into
probably just really wasn't fucking with it, and that's about it.
I think so too. But then this was like early on before. Well, I think Tinder was around, but it wasn't like that heavy as it is now. But I
Tinder's
think.
been heavy for years.
But I'm
dude.
telling you right now, I think if you come up to 50 people outside and just say hi to them, 50 of those people are gonna think this is a weird interaction.
But I think that it's not dating apps. I think that's the internet. I think.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I think social media specifically,
But that's-
not
but-
the internet.
but
Social
the-
media specifically has ruined that concept of humans being able to fucking interact, have an experience. It's just like,
I mean,
dude,
that's,
it's created so many problems. I remember because social media started being a thing when we were kids.
it was like very light.
we
Facebook.
were like, yeah, we were like, because there was MySpace, but
I don't think we caught that.
No,
wave.
we weren't. We were still a little too young,
Yeah.
and we were still too young for Facebook. But we joined.
But
it
Facebook
when-
had games at the time. Like,
right,
yeah.
that Farmville
Yeah,
shit.
yeah, yeah,
We
yeah.
were eating that fucking.
Nobody
shit
does
up,
that
man.
anymore.
Yeah, but it's like, how do you call it? Thing is like, I remember my experience through school had changed drastically once Facebook became a big thing.
And
It was
then
really
Instagram.
it was
Yeah,
really Facebook that
for
launched.
us, yeah, it was Facebook.
Yeah, it
for
was-
sure.
Well, I'm talking about in general, just too. Facebook was really that platform that so many people had joined, and like I said, I know MySpace was there and all this shit, but Facebook really fucking created the basis of social media, and how do you call it? I remember the effect it started having on my childhood in school.
Yeah.
Because then before then, I was always a shy kid when I was in elementary school and middle school and all that shit. But it was easy to make friends, you know, like you can talk to anybody and everybody, and like boom, you made a connection, you made
Yeah,
friends.
yeah.
You traded gamer tags and shit on a
Yeah.
piece of paper, and you would wait and all that stuff. But like, I remember it was probably like when I was 13, so 2013. When we had joined Facebook, maybe a little earlier. I'm not remembering exactly. Doesn't matter. But I remember when I had gotten to middle school. This is where things got really fucking hard, because you would add somebody that you know, and you would see that whole mutual friends and
Yep.
everything, who they are, and everybody's like added each other, right? And if you're not like added with them, if they didn't accept your friend request, you're not going to be friends in real life. And that's what started happening in middle school. For me.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a whole fucking thing. And I remember feeling that as a kid. That I was just like, you can't make friends anymore. Like, all I could do was hang out with my buddies who I've been friends with in elementary school, that we ended up, luckily enough, going into middle school together, and it was the same fucking clique. You know what I mean? Like, it was
Yeah.
the same group, nothing changed, nobody knew, maybe like, you know, a few people, but like, the point is, like, we all knew each other, and that's the only reason that we were able to hang out. But you can't go around and talk to anybody else because you're not their friend on Facebook. So it's just
Yeah.
like, you would see who is friends with each other. You would see all these mutuals. And then in real life, in school, you would see them all sitting together, hanging out together, leaving school together. You know, and it's just like, you couldn't get into that group
But you know,
unless they accepted your fucking friend request. And they wouldn't.
but you
So
know
it's
what?
just like-
What's even crazy about that is that I'm gonna sound like a fucking old poopy head, but you know how like parents are always looking at kids and they're like, when I was in, you know, your age, we were outside playing with sticks and shit like that. I genuinely feel like our generation of people, where we got a decent chunk of our life, childhood, without social media, and then a decent chunk with social media, we filter it better. And here's what I'm gonna say: when I'm on Facebook, I'll still get those like 10 years ago you did this, and it shows you like little recaps. My friends used to post stuff like, oh my god, was at the park with, and then she would tag a bunch of people, had so much fun, went to the movies with, and just tagged a bunch of people. And that, nobody does that anymore.
In a relationship with.
But nobody does that anymore. When you go on Facebook, almost, it's so rare to get somebody who's like, oh my god, I was at the park with Brian, blah blah blah, we were like, and then we ran into blah blah blah. Like, even though that was already people being really into the internet, it still felt like you're acknowledging people, you're being thankful, and then you want to do it again. Now
Now they just rather post their ass and titties.
It's just dead. You go on like Facebook or something, it's just dead. It's either people,
I haven't used Facebook for years, but
I'm on it all the time, but it's just people either sharing like cooking videos or whatever. It literally, I know it became like a mom and dad thing on Facebook now, but it's so dead now.
and a whole marketplace.
Even the internet just became so soulless because then, and then I've said this before, when honestly I feel like I've said this like 10 years ago. We are really gonna feel we have no idea the effects of what it's like when you grow up solely on social media, because we haven't had, at this point we might get close to it, but imagine meeting a teenager who their whole life they've went through Instagram.
You know, I feel
It's
like
awful.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, that classic like situation that you'd see like a couple who's married, and they would tell you that like they've been married for like 30 years or something like that.
Been
And they're
together
like
35 years.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
they're like, how'd you guys meet? Oh, she's my high school sweetheart.
Uh-huh.
You know, I feel like that's gonna be
No,
not
no
a
way.
thing anymore
No.
because of the internet. And like I said, like when we were kids in middle school, my experience that I just mentioned, how like, you know, if they didn't accept your friend request, you're not gonna be their friend in real life. That was when the social media was a new thing.
Yeah, it was just like a
You
baby
understand?
steps. Yeah.
So like, imagine how it is now, right? And then we're thinking about kids who are constantly using all of this shit, and you're creating these like iPad babies. You're creating these zombies who are gonna have no social skills, who are just gonna be, you know, struggling with all these things. I feel like you're just gonna create a bunch of remote workers, you know, like
that's exactly what's happening.
yeah, you're just gonna create
Everybody
these
wants a remote
workers.
job.
And it's like, so many people can't do basic math, so many people can't spell. like
Yeah.
it's, you know, like they're relying on the autocorrect and the calculator to do it all for them.
I've
And
had that happen to me. I'll sometimes have such a basic problem in front of me, and I acknowledge that it's basic, but I'm like, I don't know why. I just want to like fucking Google this or ChatGPT it. And it's whatever. I'm like older, so it's not as bad because I've like accumulated skills.
There's nothing wrong with using the internet in that fashion. You understand?
like a tool.
To obtain information.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what the initial purpose of a computer was back then. You know, a computer back then wasn't to like play games and like be on social media and all this stuff. It's like, if you needed information, you sit down on your computer and you search it up instead
Yeah.
of going to a fucking library.
Yeah.
Right? So that was the initial point of a computer. You know, it's revolutionary tech, and it helped, you know, people gain their information from the comfort of their own home or in the school or whatever. And it's just like, now because it's so accessible to everybody, you have all these children using the technology. And I feel like children now are just obtaining this technology at too young of an age.
Yeah.
Now, I remember, like, yes, I also did get a phone when I was like 10 or 11 years old.
Different.
That's what I'm getting to. Like, I got a phone when I was like 10 or 11 and all that stuff. But, like, it wasn't to, like, talk to people.
Well, tell them what kind of phone it was.
I had a BlackBerry. That old one with that little fucking ball in the middle that you used to scroll around. That was the shit, dude. Like, I love that little fucking thing. But the thing is like, I know it sounds like a spoiled kid shit. I really just wanted to play that fucking game where you have this block and you fucking bounce the ball off and you gotta beat these blocks out. I just wanted to play that fucking game. But also, I was getting older and I was starting to go to school by myself. So my parents needed some form of contact with me. They wanted to make sure I was okay.
Yeah.
That's what I had a phone for. You understand? Like, I grew up with the immigrant life. So it's like, I had parents who were at work until 8 p.m.
Yeah.
And
early in the morning.
Early in the morning. So it's like I didn't really grow up with them. You know, you understand? Like, and so they needed to have this kind of contact with me. That's what I had a phone for.
Which is fine. When you have a flip phone or something for that purpose, it's fine.
But then it's like, what the fuck does a kid who takes a school bus to get to school and a school bus to get home need a fucking phone for? You understand? Like, if you had an emergency back then when you were in school, what do? You tell the teacher, they call your parents, and your parents come pick you up.
This is a good point. They need to bring that shit back. Schools need to do
no
a thing.
Fucking phones.
Schools need to do a thing where everybody has a little box, your box, you're in homeroom or whatever, and you put your phone there.
In the beginning of the fucking day.
Yeah, and if you're worried about like your mom reaching you or something like that could be sorted out. But kids in school, because kids are disgusting.
When your parents shouldn't be fucking bugging you when you're in school in the first place.
Well,
unless there's an emergency.
That's what I meant.
Unless there's an emergency. But what happened to the old fucking way that like how did we get through it? Like, you know what I mean? Like when we had our emergencies, what happened? You'd fucking contact the parent. Like, the school would do it for you. You understand? You're a child. You get into school, so they are responsible for you.
Yeah.
They will take care of you. They will take care of your needs. They will do everything in their power to help you.
And that sounds...
What the fuck do you need a phone for?
That sounds good in practice, but I promise it can be pulled off. It is not a very difficult task to have your homeroom teacher or your school pull in something like this, because that shouldn't be happening. It's... Like, kids are also very immature, and they're not prepped with that stuff. They do terrible shit with phones.
Yeah, kids should not have access to the internet unsupervised. You understand? Like, you know, it's a problem that fucking... I feel like we still need to talk about this on the next episode and keep this going, because this is not something I can just talk about for a few minutes. But... For as long as civilization has been going on, there's always been bullying, you know, especially in schools and everything. And now you have it so much worse. You have it so much worse because...
24/7.
Yeah, it's 24/7. You will leave school, but you will still be getting fucking bullied by your school's bully and all this shit. Our producer is fucking doing this to me right now.
He wants to sub off.
He wants to sub off. He's telling me that I gotta fucking wrap this up. Listen, thank you guys for watching. Unfortunately, we're having some technical fucking difficulties.
Not true. It's all lies. Thank you for tuning in. Another great episode. A lot more coming in. We're gonna do more stuff with topics. Remember to send us a subscribe, throw in a comment, the little bell notification, turn that shit on. I know you don't do it. Do it right now. Right now.
We'll talk about the snobby kids next time. If you
right now.
Only if you do it.
Thank you very much for joining us on Respectfully Disrespectful.
Yeah, and y'all gotta get it. Y'all gotta move it if y'all gonna get it. We were born ready. Yeah, and y'all gotta get it. Goddamn. Back to back to back to back with it. Y'all don't want it, buddy. Y'all just be capping and the moving steady batting, but y'all can't hit it. Y'all was born rats and we was born. Y'all don't step on them, so y'all don't